My chest went cold before the pain arrived, like my body knew something my mind was about to lose. Something pulled at me, not my body, but the part of me that still trusted the story I'd been told about my own childhood. Every breath tasted wrong, like fear I didn't remember earning, but had carried anyway. There are lies you can live with, and then there are lies that quietly rewrite your life, changing who saved you and who you were taught to fear. What I saw that night didn't stay in the past. It followed me forward, threading itself through every choice I thought was mine. The pendant burned against my skin, and the world I believed in finally split open. This is Bound to Blood and Moonlight, a good werewolf romance. As always, I read for you, and you enjoy the plot. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let us read. The sigil on her pendant flared with a frigid, frantic energy, and yanked her consciousness out of her body. The sanctuary of the oracle vanished in an instant. Leora collapsed as if a taut rope had snapped tight, pulling her backward, dragging her unwilling mind through time itself. One moment, she felt the cold, polished stone beneath her feet. The next, she was overwhelmed by the scent of wet earth and splintered pine. The fear she'd carried in Elowin's hall was replaced by a disorienting, vertiginous panic. She was not walking. She was being yanked into the past. The vision opened onto a storm-lashed forest. Black trunks bent violently under the wind. Rain hammered her skin like stones. The pendant's pull was relentless, brutal. It left no room to resist. Her eyes focused on a small figure huddled beneath a massive oak. It was her younger self, shivering, soaked in mud. The sight ignited an instinctive, protective panic. She remembered none of this night. The memory was a blank space in her fabricated history. The child clutched a blood-soaked ribbon, twisting the silk in trembling fingers. Whose blood was this? The crying was more than grief. It was pure, unfiltered pain, amplified and layered as if multiple voices screamed through the same body. Leora covered her ears. The sound pressed in anyway. The metallic scent of blood mingled with the damp forest air, thick and suffocating. Heavy footsteps cut through the child's sobbing. Leora's body froze, powerless to intervene. The steps were deliberate, adult, assured. Not a rescuer. Not yet. Branches cracked sharply under the weight, announcing the arrival of someone dangerous. A large, blurred figure emerged from the trees, moving faster than the dense undergrowth should allow. Leora squinted through the storm. A spark of chaotic hope stirred in her chest. The silhouette felt familiar and wrong. Cradled in the figure's arms was the small, limp child, her younger self. Was it rescue or danger? The hope shattered when the figure stepped fully into view. It was Damien, young, but no longer a child. Mud plastered to his hair. His eyes were wide with fear and vigilance. He shielded her smaller self with his body, the limp child cradled against his chest. The memory she had believed true, every story Marcus had told, had marked Damien as the threat that night. Yet here he was. Protector, not predator. A sharp metallic taste filled her mouth. She wiped her lips. Blood smeared her fingers. The memory insisted she had been hurt before Damien arrived. Whose blood had she tasted? Young Damien's gaze cut to the trees, not the child, scanning for a hidden threat. Anxiety coiled in Leora's stomach. His voice came as a thin, urgent whisper over the drum of the rain. Don't let him find you again. Him? A cold, constricting pressure twisted through her chest. Her feet moved without consent, turning her away from the protective figure of Damien. The rising anxiety solidified into freezing terror. A tall figure loomed unmoving among the darkened trees. The rain stilled unnaturally for a heartbeat, the forest falling eerily silent. A thunderclap ripped across the sky, followed by lightning that illuminated Marcus's face. Leora's mind fractured into stunned disbelief. Marcus had been there the night she nearly died, watching. His features were older, sharper than memory should allow. Why had he hidden this? His lips moved slowly, deliberately, but the voice that came was not the youthful tone she expected. It was his present-day voice. Deep. Controlled. Disturbingly familiar. The memory twisted, blending the real horror with the lies Marcus had planted over years. Trees blurred. Rain smeared. The ground dissolved. Everything unstable. A shrill, thin scream cut through the chaos. Child Leora's cry ripped across the memory as someone seized her. Damien, wide-eyed, reached to protect her. But another, massive force had already pulled the child into the shadows. Who was the true attacker? The forest turned icy, a cold that had nothing to do with the rain. Leora's body surged forward, instinct overriding thought. Her hand passed through the scene like mist. She was only an observer, helpless to change the past. The horror sank into a heavy, suffocating despair. The shard of memory was not a second chance. It was the unflinching truth. From the darkness, Marcus's voice sliced through the storm. "Leora, come here." Calm, controlled, commanding. The dread ignited into full-blown terror. How could he call her by name? He had sworn he wasn't there. How long had he been lying? The vision destabilized violently. Trees, rain, and ground dissolved into white static. The shard fractured under the weight of the truth, the figure who had taken her childhood self still just beyond view. A high-pitched, pressure-filled whine built in her skull until it was deafening. Then the light became blinding white. The agonizing fear condensed into quiet, bone-deep horror. Leora gasped, dragging a ragged breath as the vision ripped away, leaving only the bitter ash of truth on her tongue. She whispered, barely audible, "Marcus was there." Her entire world, built on the lies she had trusted, shattered. Marcus's presence that night was undeniable. If Damien had saved her, then who had tried to kill her? Only the echo of the child's scream remained, lingering in the ringing silence.